Hi all, welcome to part 2 of our Answers to Power BI related questions series. Today I'm going to be covering the questions: sharing BI reports, how does it work, how can I secure who has access to my reports and what they can do with it, and also can I share my reports externally from my core business. So sharing BI reports, how does it work? Well, there's two ways we can share Power BI reports. There's the old-fashioned way, which is to take the Power BI desktop file, the extension is PBIX, and attach that to an email or a Teams message, or save it into a location on your server. You can also export the PDF of the report using the Power BI desktop application. Power BI takes sharing to the next level with the Power BI service. So with the Power BI service, you can share live data. You can also update permissions over time. You can interact with that data, or your users who you shared the report with can interact with that data. And you can also create your own reports off the underlying data. So how do we do that? Well, anyone can publish to Power BI using the Power BI free license. And the way to do that is to open Power BI Desktop, where you've created the report in the first instance. And on the home ribbon, you can see that publish button there. Click publish. Once you've saved it locally, you can then publish to the Power BI service. You can either publish that to My Workspace if you're using Power BI free, or if you're using Power BI Pro, you have the opportunity to save that to a shared workspace. Now, we've created the Nettitude Academy team, an Office 365 group, and you can see in the screenshot there that I'm sharing to the Nettitude Academy, and that means that anybody that is inside that group can view that report without having to take any further steps. Once you've shared to Power BI service, you can then click on the link to open the report on the box that opens, or you can go to app.powerbi.com and it will appear in your list of reports. So how do we share that report to somebody that's not inside an Office 365 group? Well, the way that we do that is open Power BI service, and at the top there you can see the share button. That will fly out the sharing blade on the right hand side, and you simply start typing the name of the person or the group that you want to share to in the Grant Access To box. Choose that user and then click share at the bottom. It's as simple as that. By default, the recipient will receive an email notification to let them know that they've got the report. So how can I secure who has access to my reports and what they can do with it? Well, in that same window, when you're sharing the report, you can also see that there are options available to you. So you can allow or disallow whether that person can reshare the report to somebody that you haven't shared it to. You can allow or disallow the recipient to be able to build new reports based on the underlying data. And then the third option there is, do you want to send an email notification to the recipients, which is always a good idea to let people know they've got access to the reports. Once a report is shared with a recipient, then they can view the report from shared with me if they haven't got an email notification to let them know they've got access. Shared with me is available on the left hand side of the Power BI website, underneath apps there. So how do we change what access somebody has got over time? Well, within that same share report blade that you access by clicking on share, you've also got a tab there that says access, and access shows you who has access to that report at that point in time. And you can use the three dots button on the far right hand side of that username or that group and change the access level there to read and reshare, or you can revoke it entirely so they've no longer got access to that report. Internal users don't need to be licensed to be able to view the report and drill down if you've built any drill down features into the report. But you need a pro license to be able to reshare or to create new reports on the underlying data set. So how can we share reports externally to people outside of the business? Well, the first thing that you need to do is talk to the administrator of your Power BI service, because they need to enable external sharing within the admin settings. You can either allow that for the entire organization, so anybody can share externally, or you can create a special group of people who can share externally. There is also the option to be able to allow editing outside of the organization. This is a separate admin setting. This is much more limited than the editing options available to users that are within the business. Microsoft is still working on this. It's largely due to the limitations of using accounts that aren't Office 365 accounts. There we have an example of an email that's sent out to an external user to let them know that they have access to a report. So the difference between sharing internally and externally is that every user that's external to your organization needs a license to be able to view or to edit that report. And there are three options available to us to be able to license that user. The first one is to use a Power BI Premium license, which licenses the entire organization, including external users. These licenses are somewhere over and above £3,500 a month per organisation, so quite an expensive option. The other options are to invite that user to your Azure AD or Office 365 as a guest user. You can then assign that guest user one of your own Power BI licenses, Power BI Pro licenses, and they can view the report that way. The third option is for the user to have their own Power BI license assigned to them by their own organisation, and then they can view or edit that data. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you at our second live webinar on the 9th of December, and we've got a third part to this series as well coming up next week, so keep your eyes open for that one. If you've got any questions in the meantime, then please contact our main phone number there, 0333 241 2323, and ask for Robin or Luke. We'd be happy to answer any questions you've got, Power BI or otherwise. Don't forget, 9th of December, we'll see you there. Have a great day.